What is going on, fatherhood for the rest of us? Brandon Hanley, voice of a generation of fathers that give a damn. What is going on? Leaving jiu-jitsu right now, and one of the things that really served me well prior to my first BJJ competition. Actually, I learned this last year, or I applied this thought methodology last year in the triathlons and training for the triathlons. There's a TED Talk by Kelly McGonigal that talks about how stress is your friend. Right? Think about that for a second. Why or how is stress your friend? If you think about it, when you are stressed out, your body kind of gets a little tight, gets a little ramped. It's ready to spring. It's ready to kind of spring into action. So if you're starting to feel stressed out, it's really your body's way, your physiology's way of telling you it's getting ready. Because you're essentially tensing up and getting prepared to go up, in regard as it relates to being stressed or any situation that you could get stressed out about. You're going up against something and you're unsure of the overall outcome. There are certain elements that are going to be outside of your control. Your body and mind know this, and that's why you start to tense up. Your adrenaline starts to pump. You're on edge. You are ready to spring. And if you're feeling that way all the time, and if you're constantly unsure of the outcome and your body's always on edge and you're always pushing the edge in that manner, then you're gonna burn out. And you're gonna think or look at stress as an adversary, as something that's not desirable in your life. Now in the TED Talk, she highlights all this. She highlights how stress kind of plays up and exactly what it's doing to your body. And the trick is to take notice when the stress is starting to build up, and maybe stop calling it stress. That's another thing we can do. We can rename what's happening to us. Instead of calling it stress, say, oh my, this is awesome. Everything about me and my body is preparing me to go up against this quote-unquote adversary, go up against this condition, which I don't know the outcome. I'm not uncertain of the outcome, but my body is calling everything it has at its disposal to give me the opportunity to succeed. If you can take the idea of what stress is, if you can take that idea and say to yourself that this is what's really happening, if you can take the idea that stress isn't necessarily stress, that it is actually your body summoning all of its resources for you in an instant to be successful, to think clear, to have focus, to have energy, to have that surge of emotion, of just readiness. And I think a lot of you know what that's like. If you go into any competition, if you enter into something that you prepared for in any way, shape, or form, if you've entered into anything that you've been able to, they visualize in sports all the time. If you've entered into a scenario which you've practiced and you've gone through, and again, that's all part of preparation, It could be part of a presentation if you've gone through the material, not just last night, but day after day, and you know what is happening. That surge of stress is the secret to your success. That surge of stress is the secret to your success. Instead of looking at it like it's detrimental, that, oh my God, I'm feeling this way, that's one way you could perceive it. The other way is, I am focused, I'm full of energy, I am charged. This isn't anxiety, this isn't me freaking out, this is me being ready, this is me being ready to be electric, this is me being ready to ignite, this is me standing in front of everybody to deliver. I mean, think about it. What you can use all that energy for either or, but it's your body, it's your brain, it's your whole coming together as one to deliver a solid, anything. You can do it focused. You can do it like with laser-like precision. It's really constrictive for a second, but that's only because you prepared for that moment. I would think about that when I was getting ready to dive into the water during the triathlons, or I'd jump onto the bike and I was getting the shoes on for the triathlon and getting ready to snap into I'd prepared hundreds of times. I knew what was happening. I was ready for this moment. My body was surging. I was filled with energy to jump into it. The same thing happened with the jiu-jitsu. One of the things that I walked onto the mat, I didn't go in and say, hey, I'm freaking out. And I could have. I was nervous. I'd never been in that situation before, but I had been preparing. I knew that there were a number of things that I could do to increase my chances of success. And one of those things I could do was, as I walked onto the mat, use the energy that was summoned, use the anxiety, and train those thoughts into not being anxious, but into being excited for what's about to become, because I'm ready. I'm here. This isn't stress. This isn't anxiety. This is the moment. So take your stress and convert it into something useful. Because that's what it is. It's exactly that. It is something, it's incredible, because we can almost summon that at will. Can almost summon that at will. So today, guys, that's going to be the beat. And again, this is just recently, because that's how I walked into, that was how the first competition went. Walked into it excited, took that energy and just turned it into something useful, something that I prepared for, something I was ready for, something I was excited to participate in, and utilized it. Now, listen, upon like a first couple of rounds, I'd burn through that, but it also, that knowing how to leverage that energy is all part of the conditioning and pacing yourself and all that other jazz. And again, the other thing that I had was a lot of help with the coaching, the team that helped coach me through, and was on the sidelines, and they talked me through it. They didn't yell at me through it. They didn't go crazy. They said, all right, now do this. Okay, now do that. It was all at an even keel, and that had a huge part to do with it too. If you've got people screaming and shouting to you on the side, that's very confusing and can incite those surges unexpectedly. And what we want to do is we really want to control those and be purposeful. We want to have that be controlled and make determinations, right, in situations. And that's all gonna happen to you when you're in a state of flow. When you're in a BJJ competition, or when you are up against, or you're in a situation, again, that could normally be stressed. It's the opportunity for growth, right? It's barely beyond the norm, and that's the opportunity for you to take a breath, Know that you're prepared for it, know that you've got the energy for it, and know that you're capable. Know that you've got everything you need at your fingertips, and that's where your body surges forth, guys, and gives you everything that you've been looking for. The stress today is now the secret to your success. All right, guys, that's going to do it from the BJJ report. Hope that everybody is having a fabulous weekend, and if these are of value, give me some thumbs up. Hashtag replay. Let me know you're here. And let me know what's going on in your life. Let me know if this has added value to you today. All right, guys, take it easy.